Welcome back to Rooted and Rising Through the Beauty Industry, where experience meets ambition. I'm Josie, and I'm a hairstylist and brand educator with 10 years of experience in the industry.
And I'm Quinn, a fresh stylist navigating the early years of my career. We're two hairstylists at different stages, one seasoned, one fresh in the game, here to have real conversations about growth, mindset, and the evolution of being a stylist.
Whether you're behind the chair or looking beyond it, we're here to explore the skills, opportunities, and mindset shifts that help us rise together.
Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to Rooted and Rising Through the Beauty Industry. We're your hosts, Quinn Mattingly
and Josie Aldrich. Today, we have the privilege of talking with Kimber Bootay, a distributor sales consultant for Bassett Salon Solutions, whose territory spans from North Sacramento down to Stockton and even out to Jackson. She has spent the past 28 years going into salons, asking how she can best serve them with the mindset of putting her clients' individuals' needs first.
And while Kimber truly cares about her clients, what you'll come to know is everything she does is for her family. Kimber is without a doubt someone you want on your team. She will always have your back. And as always, we like to start our episode with a quote that resonates with our guest or the subject of the episode. So Kimber, do you mind sharing your quote with us and letting us know what that quote means to you?
My quote, it's not an official quote. I kind of live my life by the quote of, or the mantra of, I'm not for everybody.
I love that. What does that mean to you? Why do you feel that way?
Well, both of you have a relationship with me. You know my personality. And I kind of live my life by integrity and truth. I'm extremely blunt and open. So sometimes when my friends or my coworkers or my clients ask me a question, I answer them with a question asking them if they really want to know. Like, do you really want to ask me this question? Because I don't know any other way other than being kindly, brutally honest. So sometimes that doesn't resonate with everyone.
I respect it. I think it's so funny that is your mantra of life, because with our experience with you and my personal relationship with you, the only side of Kimber I have ever seen has been honest, but so supportive and good-hearted that I am really shocked that people wouldn't enjoy your presence. There's the occasional phrase where you're like, what'd you just say? But it's always funny and enjoyable. And honestly, I would actually say that the highlight for my week would be like having the opportunity to sit down and chat with you today. I think that it's so exciting. We're in our new recording space at the Bright Eyes marketing space. We also have our new audio equipment, so we get to test drive it out with Kimber today. And then I would probably, I'm jumping right into our highlights and lowlights of the week, but my lowlight would have to be this past Saturday. I was installing extensions on a new to me extensions client, and one of the stylists at the salon was shadowing me and watching me what I was doing. And as I was tying the string on, I went to tie it on, but the string was still really long, and the stylist stepped onto the string. So as I pulled the string, it nearly ripped the extensions out of her head, and I was like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. And the stylist felt so bad. The client was fine, but it was definitely a moment of like, oh crap.
It happens.
Quinn, what was your highs and lows for the week?
My high for the week is our new equipment. Thank you so much, Josie, for going the distance to get this. Definitely having Kimber here. We really appreciate your time, Kimber, and I'm so excited to hear your insight. And I had a good week in the salon. I enjoyed my week in the salon, had great clients, and I feel like I did really good hair. My low light for the week, I'm still dealing with the eczema on my hands. We talked about it an episode ago, but it's getting better, but it's still just so frustrating, and it really highlights how physical this job is. And if there's one thing off in like your physicality, it really makes things challenging. So it has reminded me to appreciate all of the capabilities I do have. Kimber, what are your highlights and lowlights for the week?
My highlight of the week was just this past weekend, our entire team, like the whole sales team, which we are spread out through several states. The company that I work for services Washington, Oregon, Idaho, California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico. So we're quite a force. There's a lot of us, and we don't all represent all the same manufacturers. So getting us all together is a feat, and it doesn't happen very often, but we were all there. It was really cool. Yes. So we went down on Friday, spent until Sunday morning as a team at a training. We did some manufacturer training, some sales training, and a lot of togetherness and a lot of fun. So that was the highlight of my week. I would say the low light was dealing with some really difficult deliveries that didn't happen on time and trying to coordinate family members to be there to receive them when I'm not here. It just was a disaster. So
Should they be coming in soon though, hopefully?
they're here. They didn't sit out in the rain. They're in my garage, but it just was a process.
A low light that turned to a high. So, jumping into our conversation today, this year, while we were in Punta Cana, I actually had the opportunity to see you win Sales Consultant of the Year for a leading manufacturer here in North America. And it was so cool to see you because you were shocked to say the least. Like, it as shocked as someone winning $250,000 off a scratch off. Shocked. Like, she couldn't even believe it, but that is such an incredible testament to who you are and how hard you work. And I think that you have had such an incredible journey getting there. What do you think sets the top performing sales reps apart in the beauty industry?
I would say that top performing salon consultants are consistent. That's the biggest thing, in my opinion, is being consistent, like showing up. Our jobs, we don't go to an office. We don't have our boss sitting in front of us every day. You have no close camaraderie, close in proximity, because you're not working with your coworkers. We get up, we get in our car, we drive to as many salons as we can see in a day, and we drive home. So there's no, like, you're not sitting down in a break room having lunch with anybody. It's just you.
Do you have like set hours, or do you set your hours based on the salons?
We don't have set hours. I operate really well with structure, so I structure myself. But again, this job, you have to be very self-driven and self-motivated. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. So for me, I like to have structure. We typically, Mondays are set aside because most salons are not open on Mondays. There are more now since COVID, but prior to that, barely any salons were open on Mondays. So Mondays are typically days that we do office work, or that we have team calls or sales meetings or whatever. So that's typically Monday. And then we're out in the field Tuesday through Friday. That's typical. Most salons aren't open at like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. So I use my morning to just tie up loose ends, do any text communication, any social media type stuff, answer emails. I do that, and then I get out into the field. For myself, I'm very old school, so I use what we call like a 2-week route. So I see most of my salons every other week, pretty much on the same day, pretty much at the same time. When I came up in this industry, I was taught that your clients should be able to set their clocks by you. So they should know every other Thursday you're going to be there at 2 o'clock. And you should keep to that as much as possible. It's changed a little bit. I try to operate more on appointments with the clients that I'm closer to. So sometimes that kind of messes up your route a bit. But for the most part, I stick to a 2-week route. I work Tuesday through Friday. I finish when I finish. I'm usually out pretty late as far as a work day is concerned. Many days I don't get home till 7 o'clock at night. Just depends. It just really, every day is different. Every single day is different. And then I'm kind of crazy. So like I will do certain things on Saturdays and Sundays that I can't get done during the week. It's kind of my quiet time, and my kids are grown. And so it's like, I may as well just do my returns, or do my color trade outs, or my retail trade outs, or fill out my class request forms that I didn't do this last weekend. But every rep does it different. But I would say for top reps, it's consistency, and then it's relationship building and trust. Those are the things. The knowledge, of course, is good. The experience, of course, is good, but you can't get any of that if you're not consistent and if you don't build loyal, relationships with people, with your clients that trust you.
In our experience, I mean, I've known you for 1.5 years. I've seen you do that. I come from a sales world. I come from a very relationship-driven sales background, and I know how hard it is and how challenging it is to nail down business owners. Not only business owners, we're owning salons. So consistency on our end sometimes isn't something you're going to get from us. So it's the herding cats of it all. I can't even imagine how challenging that is for you. And of course, salons face their own challenges. But for you, let me ask you this. Do you like to be called a sales rep, or What's your preferred title?
I don't care.
You don't care? Okay.
If I were to call myself anything, it just rolls off the tongue. I'm a DSC. I'm a distributor salon consultant. So a DSC. That's what we would call it on the sales side. I don't care what I'm called as long as my clients view me as a partner to them. I don't want to be I am a sales rep. I am. But I try my best to not be, I present opportunities. I try my best to not be a pushy person. I don't want to be a salesperson that people are like, oh, here she comes again. I never want to be that. I want to be a resource. I want to be someone that if you have a question about a product or a manufacturer or a product category or whatever it is, I want to be the person that you feel that you can come to, and I will give you the answer. And if I don't have the answer, which happens, I will get it for you and bring the answer back to you.
What would you say are the biggest challenges or roadblocks that you encounter in your role working with salons? And then what are solutions that you have or ideas that you have that can help both sides work together more effectively to create even a more successful partnership?
For me, personally, the most challenging obstacle is, I'll try to explain it. I see myself kind of in the middle of a type A and a type B personality. Stylists are very, 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 very much far on the type B side. And when I'm working, I'm pretty organized, and that's when the type A comes out. And so deadlines, dollars, decimal points, things like that are typically not what a stylist is thinking about all day long.
Or really ever.
The company that I work for is very, very, very efficient and very good at getting things delivered quickly. So for us, our shipping cutoff every day is 2:00. And if we get an order in before 2:00, probably 95% of the time is going to ship that day. And probably 95% of the time, our clients in California are going to receive it the next day.
I can attest to that. Not necessarily for our personal salon, just because we don't really dabble in that side of our own, but I just recently taught a class somewhere, and one of the students actually just told me that she was opening up her own salon, and she sent me a picture of all of her Bassett boxes, and once they came in, and she was like, it's so exciting because I just placed it and it showed up the very next day, and I was like, yes, girl, get it. Like, so exciting. So exciting.
The hard part is explaining to stylists and salon owners that our shipping guarantee is 2 to 3 business days.
That's fair.
So, but it very typically will show up the next day.
It's a pleasant surprise when it shows up the next day.
The under promise, over deliver.
It is a pleasant surprise. It becomes the expectation.
That's a hard part.
That's hard. But trying to get a stylist, trying to herd you guys into understanding that it's a hard cutoff at 2. And so if you guys, I'm speaking very generally, but if I say 2, you guys will hear 2 and I'll get like 10 orders at 156. It's not going to happen. I can't get them, done. So that's where, to me, that's the biggest obstacle, is trying to explain things and function and do business on the same level as a stylist.
Absolutely.
But still trying to make it mechanically work on the sales side of things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
Today, before I came over here, it was the end of the quarter, the end of the month, which is a very stressful time for us because all of our manufacturers offer rewards, which the salon uses to supply their back bar, so their shampoos, their conditioners, and their styling products that they use at their stations. And so those rewards run quarterly, and today was the day. So you've got salons that are trying to meet their quarterly purchase goals so that they receive the rewards that they want. And then you're also trying to get some of those same clients to utilize or spend or redeem their rewards that they earned 6 months ago or 3 months ago, right? Like started 6 months ago, ended 3 months ago, because rewards, dollars, time is not a stylist's best friend. So
use them or lose them.
It stresses me out because I see dollars that are being potentially wasted, and it's super stressful. But back to the type A, type B thing, I really have to dig in and try to understand that stylist's, point of view and where they're coming from.
Maybe I shouldn't, make a general statement based off my own experience, but I'm very much a person who so if it's not right in my face, it's hard for me to keep track of it. And if you were doing my orders, as much as I would hate to admit this, I would probably be texting you at 1:57 being like, oh my gosh, I'm completely out of progress. I'm freaking out. Please put it in. So I can understand how that can get messy on your end. And if I ever am placing orders with you, I promise to make it in my brain that 1 p.m. is the cutoff time, so you at least get an hour.
Make it noon. I have so much trauma from sales for the end of the quarter. I did not even realize today is the last day of Q1, and this is the day we booked you for your interview. God bless you for making it here.
Literally.
I will say this. I usually am on top of my game and I get this done. Like, I don't usually super stress about the end of the quarter because I view it as like, if I didn't do my job, 4 or 5 hours, 5 minutes, like if I let it come down to the wire, then I'm really not doing the best job that I could. Right? So that is usually the case. I usually have my shit together better than that. But with this like training that we had this weekend, and for some reason, like everybody flipped out this quarter, like everybody. I had more clients like wait till the last minute in all aspects. This was a really kooky quarter. They're not usually, it's always a stressor when it comes down to the end, but not today was particularly stressful.
Thank you so much for being here on the last day of the quarter.
I'm going to need you to tap into your sales brain for that one.
I know, my bad. I repressed it.
I accepted the appointment. So I really wanted to do this for you guys and to be here to talk about my side of the industry. So yeah.
We're happy you're here. Thank you so much for carving out the time. As you said, you really believe that one of those key performance indicators, yeah, your KPIs, when it comes to a good sales consultant is trust and building trust with your clients. What do you think makes for a strong, lasting partnership between the DSC and a salon specifically?
To have more wins than losses. I make mistakes. Our jobs, we are juggling. I wish that some of my clients could understand what we're juggling at all times. Like, my territory is not small. I have a ton of clients. It's not just each salon. It's like where you guys work, it's an employee-based salon. That's not normal in California. We're mostly a rental type of a territory. So let's say I make 12 stops in a day. It's 12 stops times how many stylists there are in each salon. So that's a lot of people that you're trying to get answers for, trying to place orders for, trying to do business with as a new client. There's so much. And then there's rewards and there's education and there's all these things, right? So I wish that my clients understood that. It's like if you're putting extensions in, and just imagine if you were trying to do a highlight and a cut at the same time. You know what I mean? It's that. And you guys get stressed out, rightfully so. We do as well. And so I would say I do my very best to rise to the occasion for any request or anything that my clients need. I tell my clients, you guys may have heard me say this before, I tell my clients, like, I'm kind of a vampire. I don't sleep very much. So it's, for me, I don't have a lot of boundaries. Text me or call me at any point in time. If I happen to be sleeping, I'm not going to hear it. So I'll get to you the next day. But it's very important to me to be able to respond and be able to come through for them. It's rare that I can't. I will go to the ends of the earth to do what my clients need. I do make mistakes. I'm human. I drop the ball. It happens. I'll be the first to admit my mistakes and apologize for them and try to do better and make them right. But I feel like sales consultants are kind of the lifeline for between the stylist and the manufacturer and the distributor. So like, we have a store in my area. If you need something, you have an emergency, but you can't leave, I want my stylist to feel like they can contact me and ask me, hey, I need a 60 and some 20 volume. Do you have time to go to the store and get it? If I do have any kind of time to do it, I will do it. I can't always do it, and I feel terrible when I can't. But I think it's those things where you just have more wins than losses, and that you are understanding and kind, and you try to fill a gap, take something off their plates. Absolutely. That's really what it is, and have more wins than losses.
Absolutely. I just read this quote recently, but it was something along the lines of like, you are solving problems, you're not selling a product. And I really do feel like that is your role. And you do what you can to help with that problem. Not all of those problems are yours to solve, but we can definitely say that you do your best to solve them, even if they aren't yours. And I think that that does make you stand out amongst other sales reps that I've encountered throughout my career.
At Bassett Salon Solutions, we have a multitude of lines, probably more than you guys even know that we have. So many lines. And sometimes for a salon consultant to have a lot of lines, there's a lot of pressure, right? There's a pressure from the manufacturer. They want you to produce. There's pressure from the distributor. They want you to represent every line as evenly as possible across the board. You know, you have goals and things that you have to meet. I try to view it as more of like, if we're talking about a certain situation or a certain client that you have, that your bleach isn't lifting their hair high enough, fast enough, and gentle enough. It's my job. It's like my tool bag, right? To pull the tool out that is best going to service that particular need. I try to, like at your salon, you guys are a Davines exclusive salon. So if you were to come to me with a specific problem, I would try to fulfill it, to fill that gap with a Davines solution, because that's what works best for your salon. Sometimes that's not possible. So I have to dig into my tool bag and present something else. Outside of manufacturer exclusive salon, it's kind of open game. Try to do my best by asking the right questions and understanding really what's important to you, like what you need, what the problem is, but also what's important to you. Like, do you want to have a sustainable line? Do you not care about that? You know, it depends. Some of them don't care. Some of them do. You know, is your color PPD free? Is it not? So I go to the manufacturers that I represent and fill that hole the best way possible. That's what I try to do.
I can't even imagine keeping all of your clients straight, keeping all of the brands and manufacturers straight, and then keeping each individual product or line within each brand. Like the Rolodex in your head. I don't even want to see it. It's crazy.
I mean, it's a lot. And I've been doing this in roughly the same area for a long time. My coworker, her territory is right next to my territory. And it's a territory that I serviced 28 years ago. So I don't know all of her clients, but I do know some of them. I'm familiar with that area. The area that I'm in now, I've known some of my clients from their baby stylist days. Like they just got out. I have a client in Stockton that I met her while she was in school, and she is still my client. So I've known some of them from their cosmetology days to their party days, their single hang out and party and come to work. I may have helped place them in a salon even, and then they get married, and then they have babies, and then their kids go to college, and I even have clients that are like ready to retire. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like I'm part of their lives to a degree. That's the most special part of my job to me. Like Josie. I mean, I didn't know you when you were a baby stylist, but I've known you for a number of years now, and bringing you on as an educator with Davines.
I'm stoked about it.
Watching you grow and watching you thrive and how you present yourself and how you teach. Like, I feel like a mama, you know, like you guys are my babies and I want everybody to succeed.
We were just in a meeting the other day with the salon. I talked about this in our last episode, that we were able to do a detailing day, but I had shared that I was going to do the International Color Genius program and do my advanced training. And Kimber literally started tearing up like in this meeting. And I was like, she was like, I didn't know that. What do you mean? I was like, oh, thank you so much, Kimber.
It's true. It's true. It's like, I'm going to get teary now. It's like, it's so fulfilling. It makes me so proud.
It's interesting because what you're describing feels very similar to what it feels like to be a hairstylist, especially for multiple years. It almost feels like you're a hairstylist to hairstylist, if that makes any sense. Like, you know, it's at a different capacity, but you really do get to know us in so many ways. And to be able to see us from baby stylist beyond is got to be very cool and very rewarding, because I know we feel that way about our own clients when we get to see them through multiple years too, you know?
It is the most rewarding part of my job, my career, is knowing my clients knowing their lives, knowing, like being a part of it, even if it's a small, tiny part, being a part of that, a very important part of their life, and really, truly just being able to develop that trust and loyalty with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. If we were talking to a newer sales rep, a newer DSC, do you have any, other than consistency, trust, and the things you stated earlier, do you have any skills or mindset shifts that you would recommend for them to help them develop the skills that really will set them apart as a good sales rep?
That's a really good question. I think as a baby consultant, the most important thing, really, I'm going to go back to consistency. Figure out your route, however you're going to figure it out. Like for me, I start my Tuesdays in like my smaller areas, and I try to start farthest away from my home and then work my way back to the core part of my territory or where I live by Friday. But everybody does their route differently. So however you're going to do your route, do it. And I try to reevaluate my route after every quarter because your clients shift. There's a certain amount of clients that drop off. You get new clients. You have to rework that route. So work your route and stick with that route for a quarter. Maybe make little adjustments, but pretty much stick to your route and just be consistent. Because I have heard on the salon side of things, generally speaking, I don't think everybody trusts a salesperson. They think we're lying, trying to get your money. We just want to jump in your wallet. So we already have hurdles that we have to overcome just based on what we do. And in the salon, in the beauty industry, I think that stylists haven't seen consistency enough or from the same person. So they're very leery, and we are responsible for delivering what they need for their livelihood. It's really important. And so they don't trust you. So you have to be consistent, and that alone helps to build trust.
When I was in sales, I was told this quote that building trust, you think of it like a jar of marbles, and everything you do in relation to your client is either adding or taking away a marble. And to your point, like consistency, I think is not the easiest, but the simplest marble you can keep adding to the jar, because that's sort of one thing that's in your control. Not a lot is in your control. And it seems like you are so focused on adding marbles, whether that's, hey, oh my God, I'm out of 6-0, I need it, or I'm going to have a freak out. And if you can drive to the store and drop it off, like 10 marbles in the jar. But that's also like very much extra credit.
I would even say that it's unreasonable hospitality.
Yes, which is our favorite thing. Yes. But it is like, that's an unreasonable request. But I think that's how you operate. And it seems like that's what sets you apart. And that's why you're winning awards. Like that's why you have incredible relationships with your clients, because you go the distance because you care. It's not because you're trying to win an award. It's not because you're trying to get a bigger commission check. I'm not even sure how your compensation works, but it's because you care so much about what we do. Because you just cried when Josie told you she's going through International Color Genius. And I think that's something that can't be taught. It just has to be inherent in a person. What do you think about that?
Yes. Marbles in the jar, more wins than losses, stylists that feel like they can count on you to be there. That's, being a resource. It's yes, 100%. I am also extremely, extremely competitive. So even not a real jar of marbles, I don't want you to be able to take a single marble out, because that's everything. So yeah, I want you to be able to put the marbles in, but never want to take them out. Sometimes they come out. Like I said earlier, I drop the ball sometimes, but yeah, it's just the trust. The consistency. I feel like the things that we do individually are simple, right? Like you said, consistency, that's so simple, but it's really not. When you think of all the things that we have on our plates, like I could be in your salon and you could be having a salon emergency or a personal emergency. That enters the building too, right? Just like you guys are there for your clients when they're emotional or having, an incident, I'm there for my clients too. I come in your break room, we laugh, we cry, we talk, we do all those things, right? So I think that, they're all simple things, like fill out some paperwork for your class request for your educator so that they have the information and they can get paid. It's very simple. It doesn't take that long. I'm not going to lie. If I spend 10 minutes on an education request form, that's probably tops. So it's super simple, but like, when am I going to do it? That's the thing. When am I going to get it done? Being consistent seems simple, but going back to the example of like you fried someone's hair off. Neither of you do that, but let's say something happened and they're in the bowl and you're buying time by putting a mask on their hair so you can go freak out in the back room, right? If I'm there and it's like, I need to help you solve your problem, right? Go get you something, or do, maybe I might have something in my car, even whatever it is. That's a slowdown for my day, right? So now I'm not going to get to the next salon on time. So even consistency can be really, really tough. It's not just a roadmap. Here, I'm going to go to all these 12 salons. The minute something happens, the second something happens, I'm now working till 7 o'clock. You know what I mean? It's not easy. Getting the educational request forms is not, get them filled out is not easy. It's easy, but getting it done is not. Color trade outs. When a client purchases a new color intro and we're trading out their color, that could be 40, 50, 60 tubes or bottles of color that I'm counting up and I'm inventorying. I'm filling out paperwork and I'm actually taking pictures of it and submitting it. Then it has to get approved. Then I got to send it back. Then the warehouse has to get it. Then they have to check it in. There's just a lot of moving parts, and all of it is simple, in my opinion. Like, all of it is simple. Show up. How hard is that? You go if you're a working individual, you go to a job every day. You show up every day. I got to show up every day, but some days are harder than others. Whatever it is, the paperwork, it's just, you're juggling so much. This is not an easy job, right? It's just not that it's massive, like brain frying, rocket scientist type of thought process. It's more like, how can I squeeze 26 hours into a day so I can get this done and please everybody?
There's a lot to juggle. I want to switch gears and ask you some advice that you might have for your clients. So you've worked with so many stylists and salon owners over the years in Sacramento, in this territory. Even though you grew up in SoCal, you claim Sacramento is your city. This is Kimber Bootay's city. What is one piece of advice you wish more people in the industry, salon owners, stylists, anyone who works in the industry, would take to heart when it comes to sales and business growth?
Sales and business growth, I didn't think that was a direction you were going to take. I was thinking like the most important thing to do for your salon.
Yeah, that works too. Yeah.
So because we're in such a rental heavy market, there's loyalty, but not loyalty. You know what I mean? It's not easy for a renter to just get up and move. That I don't want it to sound like that, but things shift a lot frequently. We used to say that if you hadn't had a walkout yet in your salon, you hadn't arrived. People seem to be more well planted these days than they were like late 90s, early 2000s. I think the most important thing that a salon owner and even a group of stylists can do is to create a really solid culture in their salon. I think if you're to open a salon, sometimes that happens just because stylists aren't happy somewhere, right? I could do this better. So they leave and they open their own salon. And it's literally just, I'm opening it for it to be mine. I wasn't happy here, or I wasn't happy there, or maybe it is a dream, right? My dream is to open a salon. However you get there, before just rushing into it, I think that you need to decide who you are, what your salon is going to be, and what that vibe or what your culture in your salon is going to be. And you instill that even though you have renters, which for us in California, it's a very litigious state. There's specific expectations you can have of a renter and some that you cannot. So I think that your expectations, like I think it's important for salons to have a meeting every month. With renters, that's really hard to do because they don't want to show up. So I still maintain that it's very important to expect that retailing is a part of your business. Sometimes renters don't want to retail. They don't see themselves as a quote unquote salesperson. But to keep a salon afloat, you need to have, I don't want to keep saying consistency, but like you have to have a team. It's a team of individuals, but they still have to be a team.
And they have to buy in.
They have to buy in. That's huge. And that's hard. It's really hard. Owning a salon is not easy. My boss just said this weekend she owned a salon and it was successful, but not as profitable as it needed to be. And that is true. A lot of salons are operating literally on a shoestring and they're successful, but they're not overly profitable. Maybe not profitable, maybe just breaking even. Or maybe they're not breaking even and the salon owner is utilizing their income that they make behind the chair to supplement the salon. And I don't think all stylists really realize that. I don't think they understand the overhead for a salon owner, like what it costs to keep the lights on, to keep the water running, and to keep the running water warm. Your clients do not want cold shampoos.
No.
To keep all that station product and all that back bar product flowing as you guys pump and pump and pump on the shampoo. You know what I mean? So I think that developing that culture and finding team players who buy into it, as you said, Quinn, I think that is the most important thing. And then the dollars and the profitability and all of that comes with it. Expect education. You know, that keeps you on top of the trends. It keeps your skills sharpened. And honestly, even though stylists will sometimes say they don't have time or they love it. Stylists love education. They do. So just make it a priority. Develop the culture, develop the expectations, and find the team players who believe what you believe.
I think that's such good advice. Piggybacking off of that, I guess, I really would like to ask one more question, and it has to do with advice, but I want to ask, if you were to be able to go back in time and specifically ask baby distributor sales consultant Kimber what she needed to hear, what would you tell her if you had the opportunity to?
It's funny you asked that question because when I started in the industry in 1997, I was a consultant and I had no clue what I was doing. None whatsoever. I had done outside sales before, but not in the beauty industry at all. And I did that for 3 years. And then I went on to work for a manufacturer as a brand manager. And I always told myself when I left my position before, all the things I would do if I were to ever come back to this job, like, oh my God, I would be so much better if I had another opportunity to be a sales rep again. Like I would do this, I would do that. I would kick ass. I would be so much better. The things I know now. And at that time I was in my 20s, right? And now I'm in my 50s. So I have thought about that. Like, what would I tell myself? And I think that I would tell myself to be more organized and to definitely be more organized, because no one's going to come in and organize you in this job. Like, all of your information is not kept in your file cabinet, right? Like you said, the Rolodex of your brain, that is such a perfect analogy. And that is where it lives, is like in your brain. I have so many notes on my phone and my iPad, and I use my calendar to a ridiculous extent, all the way down to minutia. Like, text Quinn tomorrow and ask her, whatever. The organization is key and critical. And it's so hard to wrap your brain around this job. I won't ever feel like I fully have it nailed. I will never feel like that with this job. I will never feel like that. I feel like I do a better job now than I did in my 20s for sure. And that is just, it goes back to all the things we said. Be consistent. The first thing is be consistent, care, because stylists are very emotional beings. They're very caring beings. They're very much artists and creatives. And if you can't understand that, because salespeople aren't always that way. We can sit in the middle, but not all the way to the direction that you guys are, right? And as a salesperson, if you can't try to understand that mindset, you shouldn't be doing this, because it's not, it is a numbers game on the sales side, but not on the other side. It's an emotional game. It's a creative game. It's a game of beauty. It's all the touchy-feelies. And those are the things that I love most about my job, being able to sit kind of in the middle of that and tickle both sides of my brain. But yeah, it's all the things we know. Do them. Try not to get overwhelmed, and just really, really care and try to understand the other side, that other mindset. And sometimes for sales reps, that's not easy to do.
Understandable. I think from a stylist perspective, it's not always easy for us to understand what you guys do. And I really want to take the time to thank you for sharing your story. I think that I know me sitting here, I'm like, we have very similar jobs, different at different capacities, different clients, but there's a lot of similarities. And I really do think a lot of stylists listening are going to be able to take so much from this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in a similar way to what Josie was saying, of a client comes in and they're like, I just put black box down my hair. What do you mean it's hard to make me platinum? You have bleach. I think oftentimes we probably do that to our sales rep. Like, I need an order. What do you mean it's going to be hard to, like, what do you mean? I sent it to you at 1:58.
What do you mean you couldn't get it in by 2?
And you're like, is it possible? Yes. It's tricky because you don't want to have to tell us how the sausage is made. Like, you kind of have to make it look pretty behind the scenes, right? Same that we have to do with our clients. Yeah. So I think my biggest takeaway for this is not necessarily empathy sounds kind of like a silly word, but just an understanding of how much is on a sales rep's plate, but they're striving to do a good job and they have so much to balance that I think us as stylists should probably keep that in the back of our mind, because you really are the glue that holds our industry together.
Absolutely. I think I actually have been saying this to clients a lot, just to remind them that, you know, as a client, it's very easy to have a bad experience in a salon and forget that you are not the only person having a bad day in that moment. As a hairstylist, it sucks to not be able to meet those expectations and please that client, and to spin it to be hairstylist to sales rep. It's very similar, and it's got to be really, we need that reminder to be like, you're the hairstylist that wasn't able to make me a platinum 10 blonde, and I need to give you that empathy.
Yeah.
I do want to get this in. I, like you have certain clients that you look forward to. I look forward to walking into each and every salon. And I want to be, you guys are probably too young to know Cheers, but it was a sitcom back in the day. And there was a character on Cheers and his name was Norm. Go YouTube this and look it up. Cheers was a bar in Boston. So Norm was a regular customer, a very regular customer at the bar. And so Norm would walk in and everyone in the bar would say, Norm. So I want to be that when I walk into the salons. My clients walking into the salons and seeing their faces and they light up, and that doesn't happen everywhere. So I'm not perfect, but my clients are some of my favorite people. Like, I really love my clients. I can't stress that enough. I really do. So walking in and they know me and they're happy and I'm here for them. I love you guys.
We love you.
We love you, yes.
Thank you so much for being here, Kimber. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for hanging with us on Rooted and Rising through the beauty industry. Our goal is to build a community where hairstylists at every stage feel empowered, inspired, and supported. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss a new one.
And if you're loving the show, we'd really appreciate it if you left a rating or a review, share it with a fellow stylist, and join the conversation on Instagram at Rooted and Rising Beauty. It helps more stylists just like you find us.
Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, stay rooted, and keep rising.